Hey guys, welcome back to Professional Uyghur's YouTube channel. Today we're here at home and we recently returned from our 2-day MSC Divina cruise to Nassau. And today we're going to go over the 10 things that we did not like about MSC. So make sure you stick around, check it out, hit that subscribe button, and let's go.
Let's go. All right, guys, like Lois said, yeah, we just got back from our MSC Divina cruise. Overall, an interesting time aboard the good old MSC Divina. So with that being said, check out our last video where we covered all the things that we liked about it. And this video might be a little opinionated. So just stick with us because it's definitely different than any of the other cruises we've been on. So we've been on Royal Caribbean, we've been on Margarita, the Ville of the Seas, Paradise at Sea, as well as NCL. So I think we're pretty qualified to be able to determine the differences between the ships. So with this, there are, in no particular order, there's just it's like a randomized sort of thing, right? So with that being said, stick to the end because they're all important, at least in our opinion.
The first thing on our list here is the technology with MSC is atrocious.
Yeah.
It is so bad. The website, the app, none of it works. The only thing that worked surprisingly well was the internet once we got on board, but trying to book anything beforehand, trying to sign up for their Voyagers Club, trying to check in for the cruise, none of it worked.
How many times did you have to call?
Several times, yeah. And everything was a mess. Nothing worked. You couldn't do anything. So don't even bother, really. Is the point. Spend
your money somewhere else. No.
Well, not spend your money somewhere, but at least, you know, book the cruise. We booked through a third party. We booked through BJ's travel service, which is like kind of like a Costco. And that's how we initially got set up with this. But then after that, like, you know, I wouldn't bother trying to check in because I tried every which way I could and none of it worked. And eventually I just had to call. So, you know, give them a call. You're probably going to be waiting on hold for a while because everybody else is experiencing the same problems.
Yeah.
And even the representative I talked to, a lot of the stuff on their end wasn't working either. And it seems to be just a common theme with MSC that their technology just hasn't worked for months, if not years, and I don't think they're ever going to fix it. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, the internet, once we got on board, was pretty fast. But there we had even getting on the ship with connectivity issues for our devices was something that we experienced a struggle with. It's just interesting how some cruise lines definitely want to invest in the app, in their online service and things like that, because virtually everyone now is booking their cruises online. I can't tell you the last time I called somewhere to actually have to book something. Like, why waste the time? Let me do it, you know, online. So number 2 on our list is the overall lack of communication, right? So we're used to Royal Caribbean or, you know, NCL or even Margaritaville, right, where the all aboard time is posted somewhere. So Lewis was on the balcony whenever we got to Nassau, and had I not heard through the door, because they weren't actually projecting that into the room, that all aboard was at 5:30, we might have missed the boat. Like, it wasn't posted anywhere. Because when you booked the cruise, all aboard was at 7.
Right.
So it's just interesting that how sometimes they advertise a different different all aboard time, and then you book things, and then if you don't pay attention or you don't ask somebody, you might miss out.
Overall, just in general, I mean, the only communication that we seemed to get the entire time we were on the ship was we got like the daily flyers, but there weren't a ton of like announcements or signage around the ship or itineraries of like what's going on or when you can expect to be certain places. Just overall, I felt like we just didn't really have the knowledge or the information that we needed to make the most of our trip.
Yeah, so they do have those big like touch screens by most of the elevators and stuff, but even those, they're lagging. They're not always, it's not intuitive on where to find the information. Whereas if you were on NCL or Royal Caribbean, the app works, even if you don't have Wi-Fi, right? So, and they always update that to ensure that you're, you know, most of the up-to-date information. So thank God for that one pager flyer that we only got like the one night. Or else we wouldn't have known really anything.
Number 3 thing on our list here is that gratuities are charged on board. So that's not to say that we're upset about gratuities. We know that we have to pay gratuities. But the thing is that you don't pay them until you're on board.
Yeah.
They're not charged to your credit card until you're actually there. Most other cruise ships, every other cruise ship that we've been with, we were able to prepay our gratuities, which I really like because even if you pay for your cruise, you pay for your gratuities, you pay for your taxes, your port fees, and all that stuff beforehand, there's still going to be expenses when you're on the ship, when you're on vacation. And I really try to limit those unknown expenses as much as possible. So getting hit with the gratuities when we're on board, I really didn't like that. I would have rather paid them beforehand. I had no idea what they were going to even be until we were on board, which in our case was $35 per person. So I imagine that changes, based on number of nights. So it's basically another $70, which isn't a ton, but it is a 2-night cruise. But yeah, we didn't have the opportunity to pay those beforehand. And also what makes it really weird too is that with MSC, this is the only cruise ship doing this, but you have to register your credit card on board. Again, you have to visit a kiosk, register your credit card, versus every other ship you can do this again beforehand, probably because their technology works. Yeah. And you can do that online, but with MSC, you have to visit a physical kiosk, register your credit card. You can also visit the guest services and pay in cash. So again, like calling people, paying in cash, I don't know if this is like the 1990s, but it's very strange. And if you don't register your credit card or pay in cash before disembarkation day, guess what? You can't leave. They are not going to let you off the ship unless you are paid in full. You're going to be held up off to the side. You may miss your flight. Yeah. It's a big mess. It's a problem that they need to address for sure. Right. Very strange.
One thing I didn't like about MSC in general, especially with this portion of it, is it's hurry up and wait. So hurry up, wait. Okay, now get in line. Okay, now wait. And, not everyone, I guess, in front of us, was able to access it. So they're taking forever. And it's just like, again, I want to start my vacation. I don't want to be standing in line to register my card. I want to be able to go to the store, buy the gelato, buy the beer, buy the coffee, whatever it is that you want to buy. But you can't do that until your credit card is tied to your room card. I just found it to be like not a customer first sort of experience. And maybe that's what you get when you only pay $200 a night for whatever we paid for it, right? So all things considered, they need to fix that, because that one piece alone is enough to not make me want to do MSC again. So number 4 on our list, while we are not what I would consider bougie people, right, I do think we have a standard of cleanliness that we appreciate, right? With that being said, whenever we first got on the ship, it was definitely something. We saw plenty of piles of trash where people would put their cups down, like in the corner. We saw cigarette butts all throughout, the smoking and non-smoking sections. There was a dirty Q-tip. There was like a bathing suit liner. There was a clipped toenail on our balcony, like stuck in the chair, right? So all things considered, I get it. It's a big ship. There's people coming and going all the time, but there just seemed to be an overall lack of custodial services on ship. So much so that like even during whenever we were at the buffet, no one was coming by and clearing the tables. So there just seemed to be like an overall general lack of hygiene. So again, if this is your first cruise opportunity, please don't think that other cruise lines are like this, because we've had nothing but really great experiences on NCL and Royal Caribbean. So, yeah. Even Margaritaville too.
Right. Yeah, and absolutely. And it seemed to be like the worst of the worst things you could think of.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just one Q-tip. It was like a pile of Q-tips.
Yeah, like someone was sitting at the bar cleaning out their ears and just throwing the Q-tips on the ground. Like that's really how to be. I mean, there was like a pile of them.
It wasn't just one cigarette butt. It was like someone knocked over an entire ashtray, but the ashtray wasn't there.
Right, but like multiple ashtrays. Right. Like people were just like smoking and flicking their butts on the ground, kind of thing. Tons of
empty beer bottles and cans and everything. Everything just needed to be picked up. That definitely seemed to be worse when we first got on the ship, so I don't know if that's just maybe turnover day issues.
Maybe.
It wasn't as bad as we went on, but it didn't present a great experience right off the bat as soon as you get on the ship that things aren't really clean.
Right.
At least the main areas. So.
Yeah. Because again, if the main areas where guests are not picked up and clean and smells clean, things like that, kind of makes you wonder like what the areas of the ship are. Like what kind of condition they're in when we can't see those pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And the fifth thing that we didn't like about our MSC cruise ship kind of goes along with number 4, the hygiene, is that there was there's nobody overseeing the sanitation at the buffet. Normally when you get on Royal Caribbean, there's somebody standing there and they'll tell you washy, and they have all these sinks with soap, and everybody that walks into the buffet, you have to wash your hands. Even if you're not going in there to eat, they force everybody to wash their hands. On MSC, they didn't have any sinks, they didn't have any soap. They had a few like hand sanitizer stations, but again, there was nobody standing there to enforce it. Most people did not use those. And so then you got people, you know, that haven't washed their hands, touching all the tongs, touching all the food. And it just really kind of makes you not want to eat at that buffet. For this cruise, I actually joined the Facebook group for this sailing. And I know that particularly afterwards, a number of people complained that they did get sick on this ship.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough not to.
Right.
I think we tried our best to stay as clean as possible, but it doesn't surprise me at all that several people got sick when they're not enforcing hygiene habits at the buffet.
Cruise ships are already a petri dish, right? So just make good choices. So if you notice that there's no one there enforcing hand washing or hand sanitizer, maybe bring your own, right? Or use it. Like, I don't know. Again, it's just basic courtesy, cleanliness courtesy that you think people have, and it's not common. So,
okay,
good times. So number 6 on our list is, we definitely understand that kids are going to be on cruise ships. Like, I get it. They're small humans. They are allowed to do the things, right? But with that, on this ship, we definitely noticed in the solarium, it definitely seemed to be like the kids' hangout spot, especially when we first got on board, because that was where the pool was filled. So the main pool was not yet filled. With that being said, the solarium is an extremely echoey sort of vibe. So if you're sensitive to high pitched noises, maybe skip on the solarium. So if you visit an NCL ship, you'll have the Haven, or if you have the Royal Caribbean's solarium, those tend to be adults only, or at least 16 and up. That did not seem to be the case here on MSC. So just be mindful that if you've cruised on other cruise lines, it isn't a true apples to apples sort of comparison. So
you got to pick whether you're going to be out next to the bar smoking in the pool, or if you're going to be inside with all the kids screaming. You know, those are your choices.
Pick your poison.
Yeah, so the solarium typically is like a peaceful sort of area, but on this ship,
tranquil.
Yeah, it definitely was not.
No, but I will say the decor inside of the solarium, top notch. Like, it was pretty cool seeing all the mermaids on the wall.
All right. Number 7 on our list was getting connected to Wi-Fi.
Oh my God, y'all.
We did pre-purchase the Wi-Fi before we got on board. That was part of our reservation. It was $77 total for 2 devices for the 2 nights. When we went to go log in for Wi-Fi, Christine got on really easy with her iPhone. It basically, as soon as she connected, it brought up the web page, and she was able to punch in, you know, our last name and our room number and get right on board. Mine, I don't know if it was because I use Android, or if it was because I already had
User error.
Or if it was because I already had the MSC app. But it would not connect directly to Wi-Fi. It kind of looked like it was connected, but then it would drop, and I never really got great speeds, at least initially. I went through the MSC app, and there was a Wi-Fi section there. It told me how many devices we had, and it was a big Connect Now button. You click that Connect Now button, it doesn't connect.
Right.
So what am I missing here? And I went and stood in the line at guest services, asked them. They don't know. They sent me down to the photo booth, the photo desk. Talked to the woman there. She was actually really helpful, but basically what it was that for whatever reason on Christine's phone, it directed her directly to the website, which was mscwifi.com, versus on my phone, it did not for whatever reason. Even when I went and clicked like log in to this Wi-Fi, it never took me to that webpage. I never got that opportunity. But as soon as I went to mscwifi.com, then I was able to get connected, punch in again my last name, room number, and get connected. But it just seemed like it was kind of a headache, and it was a couple hours that I wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi that I kind of wanted to be, and I had to go stand in 2 lines basically to get this sorted out, and just a little bit of a pain.
Then I will say on the second day, my Wi-Fi was noticeably slower, right? So I had some connectivity issues. No, I was connected to the app. My iPhone said MSC Wi-Fi, the whole thing. But I just noticed that the second day, the Wi-Fi was just slower. That could be, because we're in Nassau, we're in port, and I don't know. I mean, who knows? But again, I haven't witnessed that on other cruise ships. So number 8 on our list is, this is definitely a cruise where you will experience a lot of cigarette smoke. For somebody who's pretty sensitive to all those smoking habits, it was almost where I really couldn't enjoy being out on the pool deck or or even in some of the outdoor areas because of just how many people were smoking, right? So if you were super sensitive to that and you enjoy an outdoor cabin, or if you enjoy being outside, would recommend booking a balcony cabin because that might be the only fresh air you get, right? Now, with that being said, I could tell that at one point in time, people were smoking inside of our room, but they did their best to probably clean that up. It was just a faint whiff whenever you would walk in. So I was okay in the room, but definitely noticed, especially on the pool deck, it definitely seemed to be a chimney of sorts. So again, if you're sensitive to that like I am, one thing to watch out for.
Absolutely. I personally have nothing against anybody that wants to smoke. If you're an adult, go ahead and smoke. You know, that's your choice. I guess the point is on this one that there's more smoking than I've seen on any other cruise ship. And someone did ask me about this during our cruise ship tour, because we made a point about how much smoking that there was on board. And I would say probably 90% of the ship is still non-smoking. Anything inside other than the casino, obviously, is still all non-smoking.
Is the casino non-smoking? So I didn't smell it nearly as bad in the casino.
I think the casino was smoking. You could smoke in the casino, yeah. But just the number of outdoor spaces, particularly like right next to the main pool, is kind of unusual for most mainstream cruise ships. And so it seemed like there was more places that you could smoke on this ship than I've seen on any other ship. Yeah,
and you can tell this ship was built for a different crowd because obviously it's an Italian ship, but there was actually an ashtray in the bathroom, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Number 9 on our list of things that we didn't like about the MSC Divina was on the last night, for whatever reason, they went around and they collected all the pool lounge chairs. Well, not just at the pool deck, but across all the decks.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do when we're on a cruise ship is late at night, I like to just lay out, get some of that ocean breeze and just watch the stars. The stars are beautiful when you're ever out at sea. And so I just like to look up at the sky and just kind of ponder life and enjoy myself. But for whatever reason, they collected all of the lounge chairs. I know that there was a white party up by the pool. And I figured, okay, well, they're collecting the lounge chairs around the pool because they are going to open that into a dance floor. I'll go to one of the other decks, one of the other locations. No, the entire ship was like that. I could not find a lounge chair
at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it's not like it's like 2 a.m. Like it was after dinner, but before midnight 30.
Yeah. So just all the lounge chairs were gone on the last night. Now, Christine, you had mentioned that maybe you thought that this was because they're kind of encouraging people to go back to their cabins early because they knew that we were going to pull into port early, which was along those same lines. We pulled into Port Miami at 3 a.m. So while we were sleeping, we pulled into port. Our balcony faced the port, and then from 3 a.m. until we woke up at 7 a.m. for 4 hours straight, we got to listen to lovely port noises. All those sirens, alarms, machines backing up, cranes going up and down, things being loaded and unloaded. It was not quiet at all. And it made it really difficult to sleep on that last night.
Yeah. So that being said, just maybe be mindful of what side of the ship your cabin is going to be on if you value sleep.
Yeah, we did not sleep well at all.
Yeah, and I typically can sleep through anything. Like my alarm does not wake me up, nothing.
Either night, yeah, both nights were pretty loud.
Yeah.
The 10th thing on our list that we did not like about MSC Divina was the food.
Yeah.
So we tried everything on the ship, and I really could not find much of anything that I liked. Even the desserts, the pastas, none of it was really that good. That could just be that they're not really tuned towards an American style palate. This isn't a European style cruise ship. Maybe it's more of a European type of thing. For instance, one of the things that I found strange to me, at least as an American, was that there was tuna on the pizza. I thought maybe at first that it was sausage or pulled pork. But no, it was definitely tuna, and that was quite a surprise for me. I asked the guy next to me, he happened to be German, and he said that was a common thing over in Germany. But I thought it was very strange and threw me for a loop. There was a lot of seafood just in general. Some of the pastas, if you weren't careful when you're reading them, or when they don't look like they have seafood in them, but yeah, a lot of them did have seafood. So particularly if you have a shellfish allergy, make sure that you read all of the ingredients on all the foods because it was very strange.
Yeah. No, I will say that MSC really is good about being able to identify like what it is. So make sure you are, to Lewis's point, reading everything. I just found that things lacked general flavor overall, right? So while it was food, I don't necessarily think that it would be something that I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to go back and have that dish again. So we were in the main dining room for one night, and then we went to the buffet for one night. I think overall breakfast was probably the best because how can you really mess up scrambled eggs, right? But with that being said, lunch and dinner I really wasn't totally impressed with.
With the dining room, another interesting thing is that they do force you to sit with other people.
Yes.
So this was strange compared to any other cruise ship that we've been on. I know this is like kind of how things used to be, but not really so much anymore. And cruising as a couple, we tend to like our personal private area for, we want a table to ourselves.
Yeah, well, because we're filming, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to think that we're trying to get them on camera, right? Like that's not our, always our bag.
And one of us is more introverted and just doesn't want to talk to strangers.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you kind of got like these forced conversations that you have to have at dinner when someone's sitting at the same table with you, and the same old small talk. Small talk kind of gets old after a while. We kind of lucked out the first night, and that the people that they were going to sit with us, they didn't want to sit with us. I mean, that was fine with us.
Whatever,
but because of that, we didn't go back to the main dining room the next night. We instead went to the buffet. So kind of keep that in mind. If you're kind of antisocial, or if you don't enjoy small talk, if you're introverted, it's going to be a little more difficult.
I'm not antisocial. I just, again, when we're on vacation and stuff, I just want to make sure that I'm not being, I don't know. I just want to impact someone else's vacation. Right?
She's the vice president of the antisocial social club.
I am not. Y'all, okay. With that being said, if you guys ever see us out and about on a cruise ship, please come say hi. I promise I'm a nice person, right? I just never want anyone to feel as if they have to talk to me about anything, right? And I think if you're stuck at a table with somebody, the polite thing to do is talk to them. And I definitely would. I just never want anyone to feel like they have to engage with us. That's all. Especially because we carry on this giant camera. Yeah, so summing up, the food wasn't that great. Service was great, but the food wasn't that great.
All right, guys, so that's going to do it for our top 10 things that we did not like about our MSC Divina cruise. Let us know in the comments below if there's any of those things that we missed, anything that you think that we should add to the list, anything that you didn't like about your MSC cruise. And if you want to talk about the things that we did like about our MSC cruise, make sure you go back and check out our last video. We'll link in the description below. For that one, we talked about the top 10 things that we really enjoyed about our MSC cruise, so it's not all negative. There are some positives there. And with that being said, we're out of here. So remember to hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next weekend.
Bye. We didn't talk about the food.
Oh, okay.
The number one thing we hated, we didn't talk about. There you go.
Are you all right with that, or do you want to?
I guess I'm going to be okay with it.
Do you want to do it again?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I just want to make sure you're all right.
No, it's fine. I'll set it around it.
And today we're going to go over the 10 things that... And today we're going to go over the...
10 things.
Yeah.
Not 8 things. I can count. 10 things.
And not 12 things. When I have my fingers.
I'll give you an extra finger.
I'm sure you would.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry about the sneeze. So yeah, it's just interesting how, cruise ships don't seem to want to invest. Some I'm about to say some sorry.
Liberty.
Hey.
Hey.
Man.
Hey.
Come here. Come see mommy. Come see mommy. Come on. No, that was a big stretch. Yeah. Come here. Come on. Come on. I know. How dare they walk by the house? Head of security. Good girls. Okay. I know. Can you sit? What number is this?
This is number 4.
Okay. And isn't solarium supposed to be solar because it's indoors? It's not supposed to be peaceful. It's supposed to be warm.
I thought it was soulless.
I think solar.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it means.
All right. So we'll cut that out then.